Very good morning to all. Once again, this side Gagan Thakral from Krishna Engineering College. Today, we will discuss about Lecture 7 of Web Technology. The basic terms used in today's lectures are: first is polymorphism. Polymorphism means more than one form, or we can say that ability to take more than one form is known as polymorphism. And then we are using term constructor again and again. Constructor is a special method which has same name as class name is known as constructor. And constructor overloading, when more than one constructor behave differently in a single class, then it is known as constructor overloading. Now we will discuss about polymorphism in detail. Polymorphism means the ability to take more than one form, or we can say that this is something very similar to a word having several different meanings depending on the context. In English language, there are so many words which have different meaning at different situations. For example, if I like to say that, what is your date of birth? What is your date of birth? Then we are talking about a particular date. And when I say I like to eat date fruit, now meaning of date is khajur fruit. So same word have different meanings at different situations. This is known as polymorphism. And one date is correspondent to Tariq, and another date is correspondent to Khajur. So the context or meaning of the word change according to the line. So more than one form is known as polymorphism. Poly means more, morphism means form, more than one form. Now, in this diagram, we discuss polymorphism with example. Here, shape is given, and shape contains function draw. When we pass argument of a circle in a draw function, then it will draw circle. And when we pass arguments of box in draw function, then it will draw box. And when we pass triangle arguments, then it will draw triangle. So the function name is same draw, but it behave differently on the basis of different situations. Sometimes it draws circle, sometimes it draw box, and sometimes it draws triangle. So draw function is more than one form, and it behave differently is known as polymorphism. Draw function to different shapes according to the arguments and behave differently. So this is known as polymorphism. Now, uh, before this, I like to mention you that in Java there are polymorphism is divided into two categories. One is compile time polymorphism and another is runtime polymorphism. Initially, we will discuss compile time polymorphism. In today's lecture, we will cover only compile time polymorphism. After that, after few lectures, we will discuss runtime polymorphism, or after inheritance we will discuss about the runtime polymorphism. So now we will discuss about the compile time polymorphism. First example of compile time polymorphism is method overloading, when function with the same name but behave differently with different arguments or different return type in a single program, then it is known as function overloading. Or in other words, we can say that the function name is same but return type or argument different, and behaves differently in a single program, then it is known as method overloading or function overloading. Example, for example, we define some function with two integer arguments and with return type integer. Then again we define some function with single argument integer type, and again we define some function without argument, and again we define some function with two float arguments. So these functions behave differently in this program. First, some function performs sum of two integer numbers. Second function perform sum with one integer number, and third function does not accept any argument, and fourth one performs sum of two float values. Now we will discuss this method overloading with the help of program. Here we create a program. When we start to write the Java program, then it is mandatory to create a class. Without class, it is not possible to print single statement. Here we create a class fun, and definition of class starts with curly braces. Now we write function void sum, and this function accepts two integer type argument int x and y, and definition of this function contains sum of these two integer values x and y, and stores this value into z. After that, we will print the value of the sum is and the variable value z, which stores the sum of x and y. And then again we write a new function with same name, new method with same name, but this time we will pass three arguments, integer x, y, and z. Now we perform some of these three arguments and store the result into p variable integer type, and we will print the sum is as p variable. Now again we write some function with two double type variables as argument, and perform sum x and y and store it into z, and print the sum is as z variable value, and again close the definition of this sum function. Now we write a new class which contains main function or main class, and name of the class is fun function, and definition of this class contains main function public static void main, and definition of main function starts with the help of curly braces. Here we create the object of fun class, which is our initial class, and here we want to access the method of fun class. So here we create object of fun class, and we then call some function with the help of obj object of fun class, and we pass two float values as argument in this function. Again we call a new function with three arguments as integer type arguments, and again we call object function some function with the help of object with two integer argument. Now the execution of this program always starts from the main function. Initially it creates the object of fun class, obj object. Fun class exists in this program, so the object is created successfully. When object calls some function, object belongs to fun class, then the control is transferred to the fun class, and it will search for the sum function with two double type arguments. Here the sum function is available this, but this is also some function, but it will call this function because it contains two double type values. 10.5 is assigned to the x, and 11.7 is to assigned to the y, and this will perform sum 10.5 plus 11.7 and stores the result into z, and this will print the sum is the value of z. After that, object again call the sum function with three integer type argument. Again this will call, now it will call to this function, and pass the value x as 5 and y as 6 and z as 7, and this will perform sum, and the result is stored in the p, that is 18, and this will print the value 18. Again some function is called with the help of object. Now this function contains two values, that is integer type values. Now this function call this function which have two integer type argument, value is passed as 6 and 7. This will perform 6 plus 7, and the result is stored as 13 into z, and this will print the sum is 13. So in this way this program display output, and the function name sum is same in a single program, but it behave differently according to the different arguments. So this is known as compile time polymorphism. Now we will discuss about constructor. Constructor is the method to initialize the object when it is first created, or constructor is a special function which have same name as class name, and constructor does not contain return types. Now now we will discuss about constructor program. Uh, First of all, we require to create a class, and we create a class name with room. Then definition of class starts with curly braces. Then we write two variables L and B for length and breadth, integer type variables L and B, and then we create a special method which have a same name as class name, and we write the name of method is room, and in this we does not pass any argument, so it is known as default constructor. This method does not have any return type. This is a special method. Constructor is a special method which have a same name as class name and does not contain any return type, and in this method we does not pass any argument. That's why it is known as default constructor. And definition of default constructor, and initialize the variables L and B with value 10. Default constructor is basically used to initialize the variables with the default value. If user is forget to pass the values of variable, so then it will take default values, and this default value will be assigned in the default constructor. So in other words, we can say that constructor is used to initialize the variables, and in this program we write default constructor and initialize the variable length L as value 10 and B as value 10. Now we write a function void area, and in this definition of this area function multiplies the value of L and B and stores the result into integer type variable R, and then we print the area is as R variable value. And now we write a class, new class, which contains main method of the Java, and this class is known as main class of Java, and then we write public static void main as main function, and then we create object of a room class, uh, obj object, and with the help of this object we directly call the area function of room class. Now in this program we do not assign any value to the length and breadth. Directly we call the function area, and this will print the value as 100 as answer. What happens, the execution of program starts from this main function. Then when we create object of room class, this will check room class exists in this program or not. Room class exists in this program, so the object is created successfully. When object is created, then this room constructor, see this is a room constructor. This constructor is called automatically. When we create the object of a class, then it will call automatically, and it will assign the value of L to 10 and value of B to 10. L is assigned to value 10 and B is also assigned to value 10. So when we call the area function with the help of object, then this L is 10 and B is 10, it will multiply, and R contains 100, and it will print the area is 100. So we can say that we have to remember 3 or 4 points about the constructor. One point is that constructor is a special function which have same name as class name, and constructor do not contain return type. There is no return type. Constructor do not contain return type. It is used to initialize the variables of a class. And next thing is that constructor is called automatically when we create instance of a class or object a class. जब हमने ऑब्जेक्ट बनाया तो ये कंस्ट्रक्टर यहाँ से अपने आप से कॉल हो गया और लेंथ और ब्रेड्थ की वैल्यू 10 ऑटोमेटिकली असाइन हो गई, और हमने डायरेक्टली एरिया फंक्शन को कॉल किया तो इसने लेंथ और ब्रेड्थ की डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू लेके एरिया कैलकुलेट करके हमें आउटपुट दे दिया. Now we will discuss about constructor overloading. As earlier I mentioned to all of you that constructor overloading means more than one constructor behave differently in a single class, then it is known as constructor overloading. Constructor overloading is also compile time polymorphism. Now we create a classroom. Again we write two variables length L and B. Now we again create constructor default constructor as created in previous program. Initialize the value L with 10 and value B with 10. Now again we create a new constructor which have two arguments, integer x and integer y. The value of x is assigned to the value L and y is assigned to the B variable B. So it is known as parameterized constructor. When we pass parameter inside the constructor, then it is known as parameterized constructor. In Java, there are two types of constructor. One is default constructor, which do not contain any parameter. Another is parameterized constructor, which contains parameters. There is no copy constructor in Java because in Java the concept of pointer is not available. We are not able to directly access memory. That's why copy constructor is not available in Java. But in C++, there are three types of constructor. One is default constructor, another is parameterized, and next is copy constructor. But in Java, there are only two types of constructor. One is default constructor, another is parameterized constructor. Again we create a constructor with one parameter. Again it is parameterized constructor, but this time we pass only one parameter and we assign this parameter value to length and breadth. In the case of square, length and breadth are equal, so we pass single parameter. In this program, what we do in this classroom, we create three constructors. One is default, another is parameterized, which contains two parameter, another is parameterized constructor which contains single parameter. So this is known as constructor overloading. Now we write a function area. It will calculate the area by multiplying L and B variable and stores the area into R variable. Now we will print the area as system.out.println. The area is and R variable. Now we close the definition of this area method and we close the definition of class. Now we create a new class, that is main class, which contains the main function of Java program, and then we create object of room class. Initially we create obj object and we pass two parameters. This will call parameterized constructor of classroom and calculate the area according to that. Now again we create a object, new object obj1, and we pass this time single argument, and this will also called area function. And now again we create third object, that is object 2, and with the help of object 2 again we call the area function. Finally we close the main definition and finally we close the class definition. How this program works: execution of the program starts from the main function. It will create object of room class. When it create object of room class, this constructor, parameterized constructor, is called with the help of two integer values, and this is this value of x is 10 and value of y is 20. value of L variable is set to 10 and B variable is set to 20 for object obj. For obj it is set with the value L 10 and B is 20. When we call the obj dot area L and B 10 and 20, 10 20 200, the area is 200. When again we create a object, new object obj1, this time we call the constructor with one parameter, room 10. This will call this constructor and assign the length and breadth to value 10. For obj1, the value of L variable is 10, obj1 value of B variable is also 10. When we call obj1 dot area, then it will call L and B 10 into 10, that is 100, the area is 100. Again we create a new object of room class in this line, in this statement, and this will call default constructor. Default constructor sets the value, this is the default constructor, and this will set the value L to 10, B to 10, and this will call the obj to area L into 10, 10 into 10. This will also print the area is 100. In this way, the different constructors are called according to different situation. This is known as constructor overloading. In exam, now we are able to give answer what is constructor, types of constructor, default constructor and parameterized constructor, and with the help of this program we are also able to answer the question constructor overloading. So in this way we are totally cover all the concept of constructor. Destructor is not available in Java. Destructor is called automatically. So there is no definition of destructor in Java, and that definition is available in C++. So in Java, what is constructor, what types of constructor, and constructor overloading. Regarding constructor, there are three questions. Now we will discuss about the multiple choice questions. Which among the following best describes polymorphism? Option A, it is the ability for a message data to be processed in more than one form. B, it is the ability for a message data to be processed in only one form. Option C, it is the ability for many message data to be processed in one way. Option D, it is the ability for undefined message data to be processed in at least one way. So the answer is, it is the ability for a message or data to be processed in more than one form. Polymorphism is more than one form. So answer is option A. Next, constructor have same name as dash. Option A class, B int, C void, D string. So the answer is A. Constructor have same name as class. Now polymorphism in Java is of two types, namely dash and dash. Option A static type, dynamic type. Option B start time and time. Option C runtime, compile time. Option D variable type and static type. The answer is option C, runtime and compile time. Polymorphism in Java is of two types, namely compile time and runtime polymorphism. So answer is C. Next question is polymorphism that is resolved during compile time is known as option A dynamic polymorphism, B static polymorphism, C special polymorphism, D none of the above. Compile time polymorphism is also known as static polymorphism. So the answer is B. Okay. Thank you so much for watching